I had information from the Department of Revenue, and it's a part of the Constitution of the state as to how the money can be spent. And the money that we get from the Department of Revenue can only be used on county roads, state roads, and federal roads. So if there's any question about the money, that's the only place we can spend it. Very expensive.
Where's this from? Could I get a copy of that?
Oh, yes, here.
I actually have an email on my computer from the Department of MoDOT. It states actually a road, if it's used for public use, if it benefits the public by its use, it can also be used.
So was there a meeting, July 14th?
No, it was called off because there was no business to take care of and we canceled it.
And who decided there was no business to take care of since we had previously approved quarterly meetings, set quarterly meetings?
There were emails sent out to find out if there was any business, and it came back to me
I
that,
didn't receive any email like that. I just received one that it was canceled because there was no business.
that's it. But I talked with Jason, and he said, do we have any business? And I said, I had nothing for the
I
agenda.
think we had a lot of public here the previous meeting, that there was plenty of business to continue a meeting. And discussion.
I think the only thing we discussed was that we were gonna have to come up with snow removal estimates and a decision about the renewal of the CDs.
But there were
Cause that's the only
public,
notes I have.
this Missouri Constitution section you distributed, this was being questioned at the prior meeting though, that
Has to do with the money we received from the Department of Revenue on the gas
correct,
tax.
and that was, business that could have been discussed in July.
Well, I didn't get this until afterwards, so.
And this don't need any discussion if it's in the state laws, we can't do nothing about it.
Good.
Whoever was here.
I think maybe Dawn and
I
Hayes
was here.
were here at that time. But of course, we didn't discuss it, so.
So was there or was there not a meeting?
There was not a meeting,
meeting.
of the quorum, no.
And I put a notice over there that the meeting had been canceled due to lack of business in the store where I always post them. And this one I posted on Tuesday, so it was over there for Saturday.
You got a copy of the minutes?
From,
The last, May 12th?
yes, that was emailed
So the
out.
only public road we
Yeah,
have
there's
going
that.
through Lake Campbell States is Rensealler.
What they say.
Is that these?
Well, I know from MoDOT that the rest of the lands have not been turned over to public use.
Well, I had
Still
done
private
something, didn't know
because
Do you have that here in writing?
I didn't realize this was gonna be part of the business. I have it on an email.
Can you access it on your phone?
So,
That's why I didn't print them out.
there you
Flip
go.
phone, bro.
I knew there was a reason.
That and my computer was doing
Can you
it.
run home and
Oh,
do it?
yeah.
At the time.
Oh, and I had to take mine in.
No, that doesn't.
Well, it's not in the favor.
It's not in.
No, it's
You have no financial
pretty
report.
much for everything they can tell is that Lake Campbell States is still privately owned roads. The only one that would be in question would be Rensealler.
Lonnie, did you get anything from Tyler?
That's their land.
About no removal?
I was
He's
informed not
still
to,
on
an
the
email
road. It'd be
from
made
Janet.
public.
I didn't read that part.
Was it?
Let's
You
see.
said you
over
knew someone who might be interested.
But you didn't
County.
talk about getting no
The
estimates.
roads.
I asked
And
if
if
I
the
should,
county
what
accepts
was
it,
the procedure,
have
I
to
was told,
relinquish.
let's see, I'll read it verbatim.
Proprietary, whatever they use. So then,
I said that Jason was gonna find out
From
from
Kurt
James
Meyer,
Meyer.
who has always done it in the past.
James Mark?
James
James
Meyer.
Meyer, sorry, James Meyer.
he wasn't sleeping.
And I didn't know if Jason had gotten it.
She's a fireball.
Yeah, we got
her? Yeah, we
Yes, I have made contact. I told him I was not allowed to ask for a bid at this point. He wanted, he wanted to bid, but he'd like some. So I said, after I found out,
And where does he live at?
I believe on Sunnyside Lane.
It's a little crazy right now. It's
South
not
of
like-
here,
Oh,
off of,
H.
H.
Oh, so he's close.
It goes east and west, Sunnyside runs into M
Oh, okay,
on, Wells County.
oh, okay. What's his name, James Pickett,
Tyler.
Tyler Pickett.
Tyler?
He gave us a bid before, but he really wasn't clear on what.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said he knew he had.
He used to be our old neighbor. Tyler. Mr. Pickett, Tyler Pickett, that lived next to us.
Yes, I was just told, Jason was to check with James Meyer about snow removal, as James has done snow removal in the past several years.
We still should have got a bid for him though.
I thought so, but I wanted to make sure it was, you know. what
Well,
they-
that wasn't a no answer, you could've went ahead and got one.
So, if you can get in contact with him, let's get a bid from him.
Okay.
Before, this is what he gave us before. He did $65 an hour is all
Let's
he
see, I
told us. So
do
we need a
need,
little
we
bit
want
more information from that.
footages,
I don't know what's footage.
well, 8,130 feet for the dust control.
That's good,
Right.
so that's on Big Creek Lane, that's not that campus. Big Creek and Rensselaer Lane. Mhm.
They don't do Rensselaer.
And then he's got plow around the bump.
If you looked up the, you have a copy of the Rensealler or whatever?
Just for the record, the bumps that you're saying he's gonna have to plow around, those are gonna get removed early
Oh, are
November. Yeah, yeah,
I didn't know if they were removable.
well, you do, yeah, they are.
Over on Laura Drive, they're driving around them.
Yeah, we know. At any rate, those will be removed in November and replaced back
They
in
ain't
March.
slowed down the four-wheelers and the
Are
motorcycles.
they going to fill the holes in the road when they remove them?
No, they're gonna go back, they're seasonal, they'll be installed in April and removed in November.
Well, what I was getting at was the water getting in there.
I'm not sure, I don't know if he's gonna put coal patch in there to.
That's all I'm concerned about. And this.
I'll have to read up on this, that was distributed regarding the, roads. I kind of feel like we really, as I requested in the, email I sent to you, Janet, that we need on the agenda to discuss an election. Because that does occur, you have to do the county filing in December. Are there any terms that are up this year for election? We have a structure.
Well, not really anymore, and here's why. So many years, we couldn't get anybody to serve. And when we did, they'd be
That's
threatened.
the past, though.
I know, but that's why
Currently,
we
We
don't,
need to know what our structure is to move forward.
that's why we don't have any, because so many times,
So.
we'd have to ask people to serve.
Oh, I understand that.
And then, when the last election that we had, or maybe it was the one before the last one, it took most of our savings to pay for it, and then we got,
How much was that?
it was over $1,000, but we also got word from the state that since we really have problems getting people, we don't have to have an election. We can serve as long as we want to,
What? This is a public
and that we don't
office.
have to have an election. And that is from the state, it's in
Could
writing
we
from the
see
state.
that in writing, get that in writing?
I had it, and I have it highlighted, I don't know if I left it in the file cabinet, if I had it
Because
here.
I have checked.
Missouri Revised Statutes of Chapter 80 Towns and Villages says a little bit different about that.
Right,
Yeah.
right, that's what I've referred myself to, and, 2 county clerks and an attorney.
Here it is, I got it here, it's highlighted, and this came from the county.
Rodney Rodenbaugh of the Ross County Prosecutor's Office says, we are under the Chapter 80 Revised Statutes of the State of Missouri, which delineates the powers and duties of the village and the Board of Trustees. We're also subject to Chapter 600.
I think
I
there's
apologize, I
confusion
can't make a
Yeah,
copy.
here, let me read mine.
because,
Here's mine here, and it's been highlighted, now I'm gonna read it.
Which?
Notwithstanding, this is from the Missouri Revised Statutes, Chapter 115, Section 115.124.1, August 28, 2014. Notwithstanding any other law to the contrary, in a nonpartisan election in any political subdivision or special district, including municipalities, elections in any city, town, or village with 1,000 or fewer inhabitants that have adopted a proposed pursuant to subsection 3 of this section, but excluding municipal elections in any town, city, or village with more than 1,000 inhabitants. If the notice provides for in subsection 5 of section 115.127 has been published in at least one newspaper of general circulation as defined in section 493.050 in the district, and if the number of candidates who have filed for a particular office is equal to the number of positions in that office to be filled by the election, no election shall be held for such office, and the candidate shall assume the responsibilities of their office at the same time and in the same manner as if they had been elected.
Which section was that?
Well, I don't think the question is whether or not anybody's done anything wrong in the past. That's all under the bridge, nobody cares about that. What the question is
Are there?
are there
non-interested
seats
parties?
open, and how do we fill those, and how do we determine who's gonna be on the board going forward?
so there still should be term limits.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, so the way I understand it is there's 5 board members, everybody serves for 2 years. 3 board members get elected 1 year, 2 board members get elected the next year, and it alternates. So 2 stand 1 year, 3 stand the next, and they're in for 2 years. And so the question is what you're with, is there 3 people running, 2, how are the terms set up?
That's just it, because people come and gone between elections.
So we don't know, so we can just find, we draw a line in the sand, we decide which 3 people get to run, or which 2 people get to stand, and we'll just go from there,
We
right?
should have a document where we can go back
Yes.
and figure it
Yeah, we should be able to
out.
figure that
Everything
out.
should be documented from the
It
previous
should.
elections and what people leaving.
Right.
Yeah.
All we have to do is. do
Somewhere we
like-
gotta backtrack and figure out what year we're in, right? So we can determine if it's a 3 or a 2, is what, the way I kind of read it.
And
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
We're actually new to this area, we moved here a year ago, so I would like to know what the purpose of this committee actually is, what you determine. I mean, I've heard stuff about a budget, but I don't see an agenda listed. I'm just very curious as to what the purpose of this actually is.
These trustees were set up in 1991, when there was a lawsuit filed from this community to stop a landfill. The judge in Rawls County named 5 trustees. And these trustees served for years and years and years because they could never get anybody else to serve. But it got to the point where people in the community thought that the trustees was also the homeowners association officials. and they got all screwed up. And that's why people think that we are part of the homeowners association. Yeah, we live in Lake Hannibal, and we pay our dues. I don't go to their meetings. And we've had year after year after year, we got this money from the state because of the landfill. And we had money in the bank in a savings account for our legal fees that they had to pay us because of the lawsuit. That's about gone. The savings account is about gone.
So what's the money in the savings account used for?
The savings account was used for, we would, pay for fireworks for the community.
When somebody would be in
We'd have, there was times we'd watch all the stuff, like I've got Bob had that. And once in a while, I would bill for a ream of paper because of the minutes, and I'd always offer the ink, but it was used for different things. Now,
This money doesn't necessarily go towards upkeep or road upkeep?
the
or-
road money that we get from the Department of Revenue, when those roads were gravel through Lake Hannibal,
Okay, well, that makes sense.
the county would come in and they would grade them. We would pay for dust control. And that took money, and that's what we used the money for. The only money we used for that was from this Department of Revenue. But since Tommy Hall sold it, and these roads was put in like that, the county won't touch them. And one of the former trustees, who shouldn't have voted, but he did, had a conflict of interest, got that all set up for least time to pave those roads, because he was tired of.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and stop that. We gotta get this thing going. I gotta leave here.
But the money cannot be used on those paved roads.
So, are we all good with the minutes? We
Yeah.
get a motion to approve the minutes.
I second the motion.
And then the next thing was the snow removal. I suggest we wait, don't take a vote on that.
Okay.
Let's get a bid from Tyler. He contacted me last year in December after we already made the agreement, or told James he could do it. And, give him an opportunity. If you can get with him, tell him, I don't know if you can look up the
Footage.
The footage.
Lake Hannibal.
Lake Hannibal. I don't know, maybe they might know it.
Get that.
I've got it here somewhere.
And something more than just $65 an hour, because that could be open to anything. I want to set them out, what's gonna cost to plow 3 inches of snow. It's 3 inches, and then is it an inch or 2, what's after 3 inches? Is it 2 inches or?
No, it started out at 4 and then after 3, is what we had before.
Well, I think
But
thought
it
it
used
was
to be
like-
3.
If there's a minimum of 3 inches, they plow, and then maybe it would be an additional charge if it was deeper. I don't know. All the ones that I saw, the invoices were all for the same
Still gotta
amount
be
to be
removed.
plowed. So
Still be
Yeah.
gonna.
typically, it's like 3 to 5 inches, which would be a typical snow in our area. It would be the
Is
same.
she still gonna get a bid on the churches?
he always included the churches.
Yep.
James did, that was part of his, we didn't ask, it just kinda got,
I thought it was an additional $50 per church you were paying.
I believe he raised his rates for fuel, and then, I don't know exactly, churches, Debbie Kendrick's the one that worked out.
That's what I thought.
Oh, yeah.
So those agree, plow Lake Hannibal and those churches.
So it's 3 inches or more, the first one, but I don't know where it is for
I
additional.
have a previous, and I saw about 4 AM. What did that mean? Did it have to begin by 4 AM?
This one says 8, so I don't know.
8? 4 AM.
I know James usually comes out here early.
Well, I mean, we would get a bid based on the same
Yeah.
criteria. I don't know exactly what that criteria is, but I know what like $400 per time, I think is what we pay typically. And that included the church buildings, the general store, and all of Lake Hannibal, plus the portion of Rensselaer Lane and Big Creek that are in Rensselaer.
Well,
No, I don't think they did Rensselaer.
No.
Rensselaer's County, we don't touch Rensselaer.
We don't
can't touch, you can't do the county road even though it's in the village?
No.
No,
No,
Oh,
we don't touch it. So just 3 inches, like Campbell,
in the church.
you get that.
Kurt, did you have financials you wanted to distribute?
yeah, somewhere, I think.
They were calling for them earlier before you got here.
There's been basically no changes. I think I've got one from June 30th, and maybe we've had a little bit of some payments. What here they are.
I got one.
These are the most.
Didn't this lady on the end, didn't she used to be on the cases leader?
I think those are the current.
Right. Is she looking at log cabin house?
So we currently, it looks like have total assets, balances of 31,476.60.
And of that balance, how much are we allowed to spend on, is that all road money? Is all of that 31,000 come from the tax collected from
No.
the
There's a
fuel
breakdown,
tax?
there's a breakdown on there that's coming down. I don't know where that $12,000 came from exactly.
Was that the original
Those are, that's in the
lawsuit that you were
CDs.
talking
I
about,
don't
Janet?
know about that.
I believe that's in the lawsuit. Is that correct,
Lawsuit.
Ian?
Yeah, that's from them to stop.
That's how this was all established, through a fight against a landfill coming in back in
The
1990.
CDs was gas money over a
1990,
period of
according to
time.
my records. I'm not sure who gave us the $12,000. Janet, where did the 12,000 come from, or the lawsuit money?
Is that, this 15,000, is that the total gas fund from your own sources?
15,000?
How much did you get each month?
I don't know. I think
that
that I don't-
was about June, the itemized one.
Yeah, here, this one is, I know this one is good as of 6/30/2016, which I was gonna use the July meeting, which we didn't have. And this is more accurate. There's a few months worth missing off of there. So it'd
What
be a
was it,
little,
about, average $800 comes in every
6
month?
to 800,
6 to
varies a little
800.
bit.
And that's based on the population of the entire village,
Correct.
including
Gas tax.
gas taxes based on the
Road
population.
usage, traffic, and all
The
that.
Yeah,
number of
see,
people that live within the village is how they determine how much money we're gonna get, right?
Right.
Okay.
There's the one thing, and the reason that you're seeing a lower number on the gas tax is because, on this one here that I have from June, it shows $18,000 on there. And the reason it shows that, is because, if you remember, I had questions at the previous meeting, back in 2011, the accounts were swapped. So one of the account that was getting gas tax revenue then started getting, became the general fund, and then the gas tax revenue started being deposited into a different account. And whether that was a mistake or whatever happened, I don't really know. But I do know that when I applied the expenses correctly and went to balance out the accounts, that we have to make an adjustment of, where I have this here somewhere, of over $2,000 to make those accounts correct. Because the amount that should have been taken out of gas tax was still in the general fund. Here's what I had to assume was that all the money that was in the gas tax fund, when that was switched, was gas tax money. And therefore should have been in the gas tax fund, so that had to be switched over. Somewhere I have that printed out.
It should be in our minutes somewhere.
Well, that was
Well,
not,
that was, the only minutes I've got was when they went over to the bank.
here it is.
Rick broke his,
2,493.12 was the amount. And that takes the general fund, that actually hasn't been done. Because that was something I wanted to get approval from the board to make that adjustment.
I thought we did that last time.
We did not.
no, we didn't because we didn't have a meeting.
Right. I actually sent that report over.
Well, there was a meeting, but there was not enough people here for the quorum, correct?
Right,
Yeah.
yeah. There was no business to have a meeting, so that's why there wasn't one.
Even though the public showed up.
Right,
Mm.
right. And we did obviously have things to discuss.
So this money just sits there, because the only thing these gas tax
There
money
should
can be
be,
used on
you know,
is
I think there's a
rensealler
couple
things
months.
and snow removal. Why is snow removal then,
I was kind of.
is snow removal being taken out of this budget? Because if they can remove the snow on our streets, why can't, how are they using that money for that?
Exactly. Public money is used to clear snow, and it would be public money to fix roads.
Correct balance is
Right, so why is
from this account to that account.
Yeah,
I should ask that question.
yeah, go ahead.
So are these CDs, are they restricted for certain items or?
I have a question. Sure. And I'm only confused here, so clear it up for me if you will. So this tax money, this gas funds, CART funds, if I'm not mistaken, it's considered CART funds from the Missouri Department of.
I think that's correct, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So this sits here in this pool, this 15,000 or whatever the dollar amount is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we use this, I say we, the township uses this for dust control at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Dust control, snow removal for the churches,
And Lake Hannibal.
okay, and down yonder here, Pike, whatever, the other Creek Road or whatever, snow removal
They're
in
not
general.
supposed to use it on the county road, she just told me. I thought that was
Okay.
part of it, but it's not. So only Lake Hannibal, 2 churches, and
Okay,
that's
so
pretty much it.
that's what this gas money, now, that's all this gas money is allowed to be used for. Okay, so, but we're clearing the roads in our estates, the townships, Lake Hannibal, we're clearing the roads from snow removal with these funds.
That's correct.
But then it gets gray for me because I can't understand, if we can remove snow from those streets that I live on, you guys, some of you live on, why then can we not use it for upkeep? Repair. I don't understand the differentiation there.
Let Janet answer that.
They're private roads.
Okay, right, but if we're using these funds for snow removal on private roads, then why can't we use it for
Well,
repair?
we were doing that
That's my
as a
question.
service to you people so you could get to work.
Well, us people are this township.
We
I don't like to be
people,
talked about like I'm
you live
you
there
people.
too.
So, I'm gonna stop Dana real quick.
I just wanna know.
So here's
the
where we're
answer.
at.
I'm curious.
We have to, whatever Janet has, and I don't know where it is. If you look at the article for the Constitution, you have to follow that.
Okay,
Okay,
True.
so we have to follow that. So whatever we do, we have to make sure we can justify it by the law. Right?
right,
So we have to follow the law.
right.
So we have to come up with ways to justify that. So what do we have in Lake Hannibal?
Public roads.
We don't have public roads.
No.
Well,
Yeah,
Some.
they are.
what are our roads?
Some.
That's question number
I
one.
thought
What are
that
our
was to
roads?
be determined.
I don't think anybody's determined what our roads are. So that's
Well,
one
I'm
thing.
very
I
close
thought
to
in
the
the
answer to that.
HOA meeting, it was
Two,
public roads.
we have a public dry hydrant on that upper lake.
That's correct. And there's I'm sorry, I don't.
So what I have requested is for the Monroe City Fire District to request snow removal around that hydrant. So there's a start.
For access, in case
Yeah.
of an emergency, correct. Okay. Okay.
People who pay HOA fees for roads, for any subdivision they live in, those are private roads, because in Hannibal, out on Quail Ridge, up at Huckleberry Heights, and any of those, out on, West Beatty Road, off West Beatty Road, they all pay an HOA fee and it's very expensive.
But not everybody pays HOA fees over there.
Well, hey, if you're in Lake
So-
Hannibal, you're supposed to.
Here's what I got. I got an email,
But,
Jason, I got an email recently from, I'm sorry, I
No,
didn't mean to interrupt.
no,
you,
go
Shannon.
ahead.
I got an email, I've got a friend that's in the MoDOT, and I didn't bring it with me because I didn't really actually think I would need it tonight. I actually did it for the HOA, but, it reads like a military manual, of course, because it's state jargon about how these things work, CART funds. There's a section in there that I can, if I can get this email, I'll show it to you at some time and bring it in, whatever, but it says that a road can also be used, that funds, if I read this right, funds can be used if roads are used for the benefit of the public or for government fire trucks and whatnot. So that may be the loophole that we're looking for, because it says it in this statute, this thing that I got from wherever in MoDOT.
So here's where I'm at. So somebody needs to go to the Rawls County Commission and find out what our roads are.
Yeah, and I've got contacts actually for that in this
So
email.
if somebody wants to do that, that'd be great. Second thing is, we have the postal service that uses our roads,
Right.
we have school buses.
Right, exactly.
So
That's
I
my
think we
point,
can
government.
justify that, but you can't justify that money going to fill this pothole unless we can, you know,
We
if you
can
got something from
convince them.
ODOT, they can say, hey, we can do that.
And I don't know that that's what it says, I'm just saying it leans that way, that I think that we could get creative some way and find that out, and figure it out, and maybe so. There's other things that are in it too, it's rather lengthy, but, okay, I just wanted to get some clarification on that as far as why we do it this way, but we can't do this. Okay.
Does that make sense?
I'd like clarification too, Janet. You emphasize private. Year after year after year after year that you've been on this board, you've approved prior to the pavement dust control for Lake Hannibal. What
Why?
happened?
Because we asked the county to come in and grade them, because we have no maintainer. So we was working through the county for them to grade the roads, and we paid for the dust control after they were graded. And that, or else you'd be losing your car in potholes. But that was set up with Tommy and the other trustees. I wasn't here when that was done.
Doesn't part of our HOA fees pay
But
for
they were
that?
gravel, and
They were gravel.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think it comes from the village Rensealler.
Was out.
Because there's no
I swear I seen that on the budget.
they
up
was
there on
gravel.
that
I've lived
paper
out
store.
here 20 years,
That's
and
why
it was
we need to
gravel
get the
when
two
I moved
together.
here.
Well, I was
But they'll never
accused
meet
in an
together.
email of trying to get money for Lee Steinman, so I'm kind of trying to let you know that there was not, there's a time frame there that Lee Steinman had gravel roads, if it was Lee Steinman's roads. I'm kind of,
Way I see it, when he bought the subdivision, he bought the roads too.
All right, let's move on. Anything else?
Okay.
I gotta leave here in 2 minutes, so if there's anything else we gotta do.
well, I would like, you can, it only takes 3 for a quorum, we really need to get the election thing straightened out, because unless we want to have another meeting,
Well, it looks like, sorry, Kurt has a document that shows that I'm even year, she's odd year, and she's even year.
okay? But I know from previously, before I got on here, I was requesting from Janet,